I like to use our practical experience on the golf course. And by that I mean if you messed up and you got hurt, you're going to share with us your experience of getting hurt so that we don't do the same thing. Okay? So Bob, you're first up.
With the bat.
Safety on a roller. Okay?
Safety on the road.
All right.
Off the dead ends.
Up here, stand in front. So, that's what you got.
Well, one thing I've learned is don't take anything for granted. Always respect your equipment. Don't get overconfident whether you can handle anything, because I found out even a little bit of that is big trouble. So,
Explain all that stuff.
okay. When you park in the trailer, okay. So when you're using the roller, you want to make sure that you park so that the trailer is slightly lower than the ground you're going to lower the ramp on, so that you get a level surface to lay it out on. I was always trying to go uphill and ended up going sideways on the ramp. So.
And you can actually flip it off the track.
Yeah. Unloading the machine, same way. If you park properly, you get a level surface to pull off on. This is where it much goes. Loading the machine, same way. Dangerous to look for while you're rolling. Naturally, you look for debris on the green. You don't want to run those over to damage the green. But most of all, what I learned is when you're coming off the edge of the green, if there's any incline at all, especially if the ground is wet or if there's a heavy dew, avoid the incline at all costs. It leads to trouble.
All right, let me read you what Salsco, that's the name of our roller we use. This is their safety instructions. It says, never leave unit running while unattended. Never park on a green for any reason. Never go down a steep hill sideways. Always approach hills straight on. Never change your mind midway down a steep incline. Once you started that direction,
You're gone.
down a steep incline, change direction only with the greatest of care and gentleness. That is from the instruction manual of the machine. Okay? So, a 45-degree angle, and it's wet, because there's no way we're going to roll green if it's not wet. Every morning there's going to be a dew, okay? Or rain or something of that nature. 45-degree angle on the edges of the greens, you want to avoid at all costs. Alright? That also is said in that manual. 0 degrees is your safe point. Every collar we have has a area that's about 46 inches wide. That's where you stop. You never stop on a green. You always stop off the green. Okay? Easy enough to understand. Alright? Next part of our segment here is going to be Stanley. Stanley is a certified first responder. Is that correct? So he's going to go over a little bit about heat exhaustion. Thank you, Stanley.
Good afternoon. My name's Stanley. Like you said, I've been trained military for 14 years, first aid, combat lifesaver, first aid certified, CPR, AED, and first responder. Class I want over today is heat injuries. As we work outside in the south, it's hot, it's muggy, it's humid, it's cold. We've all experienced it, so we all know it sucks. How many types of heat injuries are there? Steve? Jay, you got me? How many? Two? There's actually 3 primary heat injuries. First one is heat cramps, which is the most common, which is caused by excessive sweating and loss of salt. And the signs and symptoms of that is most generally your thighs, where your calves will start to cramp up with intermittent cramping. That's a good sign you need to take a break, rehydrate. All right? How long does it take to rehydrate? 24 to 48 hours. Right. So if you're dehydrated today and you drink and drink and it's gonna take you 2 full days to be rehydrated. Speaking of which, how much water should you drink a day? Well, just on average, average human doing an office job.
Probably what, 48 ounces?
The good rule of thumb is 8 by 8. 8 glasses of 8 ounces of water per day. Means around the heat, I'd probably go to about 120 ounces a day. You guys see the hydro flask I carry around? That's 40 ounces. That's what I drink 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening before I have to work. So it's important to stay hydrated, right? That will help prevent overheating. The second one is heat exhaustion, which some people who have already had that's not been working here. That's the next stage of the heat injuries. They go in stages, which is cramps, exhaustion, and then stroke. Heat, exhaustion, dizziness, slurring of your speech, tired, groggy, moving slower than you normally would. That's an excessive loss of water. That means you're pretty much completely dehydrated. At that time, you need to remove yourself from the elements, cool yourself down as fast as possible. The way you do that is loosening any restricted clothing, your belt, open your pants up, make sure the shirt's away from the skin, take your shoes and boots off. If you got eyes, put it in your armpits and in your crotch. That's where the veins will travel the most. To and from the heart, and your biggest veins are down here, your femoral artery. This way it cools the blood down going through your system and keeps you, conscious, so you don't want to pass out. The third one is heat stroke, and that occurs when your core temperature reaches 105.8 degrees, which is pretty much starting to cook anything on your insides. The brain boils at 106 degrees, and if your brain's starting to boil, there's a good chance you're probably not going to make it. So, again, you need to make sure that you're hydrated at all times. Always, water sucks, just drink it. But there's the 7 R's to recovery, or I guess, we can 7 R's to recovery. And they are recognize the signs and symptoms, rest the casualty, remove the clothing or loosen, resuscitate with CPR if needed. So if someone passes out and you can't find a pulse, or you can't find a heartbeat, or they're not breathing, continue with CPR until they're either resuscitated or the professionals get there. Reduce temperature fast as possible. Like I said, pour water over the top of the head. Not cold water, because you don't want to warm the shock. So it'll be like lukewarm water. And then rehydrate slowly. Like put ice cubes in the washcloth, let them melt, and have them suck on that. And then rush them to the nearest facility. What are ways that we can stay cool while on the golf course? Or suggestions? Shade. Anyone else? Cool wrap? I want some cool wraps if you got one. Bring it if you got it. Or buy one for like $7. Walmart, I think. When you're sweating, keep the sweat out of your eyes, but let it go everywhere else. Because when it evaporates, that helps your body cool down. Keep moving. If you're sweating, keep moving. This way it gets a little bit of a breeze up against you. If you go to the shade, walk back and forth in the shade, don't ever just sit down. This way you got a constant breeze coming on you, trying to keep yourself cool. And stay hydrated is the biggest thing. Drink water. Literally, if you're doing an office job, if you're working in a pro shop, 8 ounces, or 8 glasses of 8 ounces apiece would be the recommendation. It means we're outside doing manual labor, I'd say 120 ounces at least. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah.
Good job. All right, and last but not least, Adam is gonna talk to us a little bit about why we clean our equipment like we do, and keeping it clean, and the dangers that come with not keeping it clean.
All right, guys, number one, I'm sure y'all all appreciate this. Improved productivity, walk in the morning, how long does it take you to clean out a cart? Somebody left all the weed eaters and stuff in that pickup. 5-10 minutes, then you still gotta get all the stuff you need. All right, there's one. Let's see here. If there's something wrong with it, when it's not clean, it's very difficult for Rodney to see it. I know we don't have water down in the shop right now. We have a wonderful water hose up here. It works, we just have to clean up behind ourselves because it's where they clean up the golf carts at. That's gonna help Rodney keep everything going, like the greens mower. We've got a big nick in the blade, there's grass coated all over it, Rodney can't see it. He's either gonna have to take time out, clean it up himself, or, he's just gonna miss it and we're gonna tear up the greens even worse. So, that's another one. Keeping the equipment operating good. I know we have a lot of sand out there right now, and it's hard to get it out of the reels. Fairway units, greens mower, tee mowers, all that stuff. More sand, dirt, and everything we're leaving in there, we're just grinding them down worse and worse. They're not gonna be cutting good. What do these last 10 months last us after top dressing and all that?
24 cuts.
24 cuts, so that's, what's that, about 3 months? Yeah. I think we were getting about 6 months maybe out of them. So that's one thing right there. That's gonna save us a lot of money. It's gonna save a lot of time. And it's a new piece of equipment. It does a great job. We'd like to keep it new as long as we can. Again, with new equipment, if we can't take care of what we have, there's no way they're gonna buy something else. Let's see here. Also cleaning, if we let stuff cake up, like the fairway units, I know we hadn't been taking those up there. A lot of grass out of the way. But Rodney probably can't find the grease fittings, all that type of stuff that needs to be done every time, with all the dirt, sand, and everything caked on top of it. I mean, if nobody cleans the game unit, how good does it cut in the morning?
As well.
What, about 5 minutes, you're cleaning them out again? Let's see here. It's also going to help us by preventing rust, like I said, excessive wear. And it'll be a lot easier to clean next time. As well as, let's see, when Rodney gets in there, I know probably nobody thinks about this. What was the gangrene? Yeah. He gets cut on his finger, we've left stuff on there for a couple months. It's probably not the best thing. We may be getting Stanley to amputate something. And it's just common sense. Just trying to keep everything going as good as we can. And I know it's pain, but we have to do it. So, yeah.
The safety aspect of all cleaning equipment, guys, number one, these blades are really sharp. You can just run your finger across it, and every now and then you have to unclog the reel. Unclogging the reel means that you have to stick an object and flip the reel backwards so it'll dislodge whatever's on it. If you're actually doing that with your hand, which you shouldn't be doing, you could cut yourself, and then bacteria and all sorts of stuff are on those reels if we're not cleaning them up properly every time we use them. All right, these reels and rotary decks and that kind of stuff, we try to keep them as sharp as we can. And I've seen mechanics flip a blade one time and it just caught his hand. Next thing you know, he's missing all 4 fingers. Alright, so if it wasn't cleaned, he's gonna have infection all the way through there. So, a lot of that's to protect our mechanic, who we all appreciate having, right? Okay? So on and so forth with the cleaning of equipment, everybody understands that. It's something we have got to get better at. Alright? Anything else? Does anybody else have anything? Alright, safety meeting adjourned.